Hi guys, welcome back to Steep Riderz. Today we've got a 2018 Honda MSX SF on T5, or more commonly known as a Honda Grom. It's the 2018 version, so about 2016 they changed to this newer shape. So here's a review.
Hello, I'm Josh. This is my Grom. Jumping straight into it with the engine size. There's not much of it. It's a 9.10 horsepower. With what's it's done to it, it's probably about 10 or 11. Roughly around 11 foot-pound of torque, which is bare minimum. Tank capacity is 5.5 litres, which is about £5, maybe £4.80 to a full tank. So with the mods, the first thing I've done, of course, is the RS9 exhaust from Yoshimura, and I've also got a TST custom rear end and also the prototype handlebars. They're probably the main things to put on it. Other than that, I haven't really changed too much.
So it's a single cylinder.
Yep.
Is it fuel injected or carb?
It's a fuel injected twin valve.
Fuel injected, cool. Do you know the 0 to 60 on this? If it has one?
If it has one. I believe it was somewhere around 11.3 seconds from factory. With what I've done to it, you're probably looking about 10, maybe a little bit more.
Cool. Gears wise, how many has it got?
4. 1 down, 3 up.
Cool. 4-speed, nice. Top speed, so...
I've had 80 and that's when it hit red line and wouldn't go anymore.
Right, and did it do that before you changed the exhaust and the air filter?
No, I wouldn't do faster than probably about 65 stock.
Brakes wise, ABS by the looks of it.
Only ABS on the front, so you can still have fun with the rear.
Cool. Is it a dual braking system or single?
Single.
Wheel size, and what's the weight of it?
The wheel size is 12 inch and the weight is just over 100 kilograms.
So it's pretty light then?
Yes, very light.
Suspension wise, so have you ever taken this off road or not?
I haven't yet.
You haven't?
I'm a bit too scared to kind of destroy it.
Yeah, I've seen people put off-road tyres on these things and just rag them off-road.
It looks fun, but it's not worth the risk for me.
No. Plus that exhaust is a bit vulnerable there, really, isn't it?
Exactly, and
yeah.
plus I like to keep it clean.
Potholes wise, is it okay?
No.
No.
I remember there was a certain road in Bosham. There's a drain pipe that goes in about that much. I hit it, bottomed out the front, bottomed out the rear, and slapped my nuts on the tank and almost flew off.
Oh.
Yeah, the suspension's very weak, so it's fine for getting around, but if you hit anything big, it will shatter you.
Gotcha. Is the back adjustable or not?
None of it is adjustable.
No, okay, fair enough.
It's quite easy to swap out the internals on the front, and you can also get a YSS, I believe, rear shock, which is not too expensive.
Decent. How much is that sort of price-wise?
I think the rear shock's probably around £200, and in the front you can get Olin's internals, which are probably about 120, 130.
Seat height wise, so it's obviously a very small bike because it's tiny. But how tall are you?
I am 6 foot.
You're 6 foot, and well, I'm guessing you can flat foot that quite easily when
oh yeah,
when you're sat at it. Yeah. So this is sort of a competitor to. Well, Lexmo have got the Riot now, haven't they?
Yes, they have. The Benelli TNT, and I'm not sure if they do it over here, the Kawasaki Z125.
Yeah. So what would you say makes this better than the others?
There's a lot more of them. There's a lot more parts for it. You can do a lot more to it. So it makes it more unique in your own eyes. And
the parts, are they cheap for this?
It all depends. The rear end was about £156 before the import rate because they only make it in the US. The exhaust was somewhere around 400 to 500 because it's a Yoshimura. Handlebars were fairly cheap, they're about 100 or so.
Okay, lights wise, how are they in the dark?
Surprisingly, the LED bulbs, the high beams are on the lower section, which confused me at first, but it does all right sitting in the dark.
Are they always on as well, I'm guessing?
Yes, they are. They're the same as the indicators, DRLs.
So the indicators, because on the first Grom they were always on, weren't they?
Still the same case with this.
Still the same with that, okay. Storage wise, is there any storage under that or not?
Not really. You can fit a tool bag about that big and maybe one the other side, but you're very restricted.
That's about it, and that's under the seat, is it?
Yes. Yeah, you definitely have to carry a backpack with this.
Options wise for the dashboard, what have you got? So lap timer, clock, that sort of thing?
I really haven't got too much. Just going to turn it on just to double check because I've already forgotten. All I have is a rev counter, fuel gauge of course, a clock and a miles. I also have 2 different trip settings. No shift light, just neutral and ABS and an engine light.
So long journeys wise, how comfortable is it?
I've done a 170 mile round trip and it's not actually been too bad. I get a bit of a cramp in my legs of course because it is quite small. Other than that, it's nothing too bad. The seat's fairly comfortable, the suspension doesn't do too bad. It's just when you hit the potholes, of course.
How is it on your wrist? It's not too much weight on them?
Actually, not too bad. It's just when it gets cold, of course, you get a bit of a cramp.
Fair
not
enough.
too many vibrations go through that.
What are the best things about this bike?
It's probably the agility for me, because just whipping in and out of traffic, you can do donuts wherever you want, you can turn it around wherever you want. You're not really restricted of where you can take this due to the size of it. It's a brilliant stunt bike because there's nothing of it.
No, and you can get proper stunt cages for these as well,
Yes,
can't
you can. You can get full sidebars, a 12 bar on the back. It goes on forever.
So engine size wise, this is a 125, but you can get, you were saying earlier to me that you can get different...
Yes, you can get a 181cc kit from Kitco, and it's pretty simple to set up as well. You can also do cam upgrades to push it up to 10k RPM. Just goes on forever, really.
And there's a Honda, is it a Honda CB? It's like a 300 or something. I'm not sure if it's a CB, but there's a 300 engine you can fit into one of these.
Yes,
as
you
well.
can. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is the CB300.
Yeah, so that'd be pretty nuts, wouldn't it? On the...
It would be. It doesn't really do too much in the top speed, of course, because wheel rotation is what really makes the difference.
What sort of common problems do you get from these bikes, if there's any?
Common problems. Well, the fact that it's air cooled isn't the best thing. I've got a water catch just under here. I have to empty it every day when it gets a bit wet. It sucks in quite a bit, but of course having the high flow filter doesn't help, and also some de-restrictions on the inside because I've taken out a couple pipes that restrict it, of course. I guess the petrol tank being kind of small, when you go 170 miles you have to fill it up when you get there and then fill it up when you get back. So it'd probably do about, I don't really know how many miles I can get out of it.
Fair enough.
It's probably about 60-70 miles to a tank.
It's pretty good, to be fair.
Considering most of that has gone about 70 as well.
Pillions wise, have you ever taken...
I have taken a pillion. They said they weren't too comfortable. They felt they were sat on the back of the bike, like off the back.
Okay. What was it like for you, the rider?
Very light on the front end. It was very light.
Yeah, I can imagine. Was it comfortable though, or was it...
It wasn't uncomfortable. It made the rear suspension a bit softer, but you do worry about the front end because of course there's so much weight now on the back end of it.
So what made you choose this over another 125?
It's just for the fun, really. I've always been into mountain biking, modifying my stuff, making it unique to my own personal preference. There's nothing really out there you can do like you can do to one of these.
How much are these things new?
New, they're about, I think they're just over £3,000.
£3,000. So did you get this new or second hand?
I bought it second hand on just over 1,000 miles from a Superbike factory for 2,500.
It's pretty good. Have you heard of, do you know what sort of miles these go up to? So what's the highest you've heard of them going?
On a stock engine, you're probably looking around 26 to 30. That's with all stock, everything else, because that's the way they like to run, of course, and fairly high maintained.
So overall, would you recommend this to a new rider or someone looking at getting this bike?
I'd only really recommend one if your friends have a Grom, because when it's just you and everyone else is on, let's just say a YZF or a CBR, you will find you're at the back of the group a fair bit, unless you're in a sort of city. But when you're with other Groms, it's nothing more than just a laugh. Everyone's having fun, you're all just pissing about and doing whatever you want.